Hi there. We're back for another lesson. This is lesson 11 with our second graders. This is part of the K through 8 structured learning technology curriculum. And you are about a third of the way through the school year with second graders. So at this point, students should be well back into school. They should be thinking of using all of the material and the information they got in kindergarten and first grade to keep moving forward in second grade. We don't do nearly as much review in second grade as we did in first grade. We're moving forward, like using MS Word and using desktop publishing and PowerPoint. These are all, they use all the skills the students got in kindergarten and first grade, but they shake them up in different ways. So students really will be well rewarded for remembering how to use those tools and the knowledge that they got their first 2 years. So you don't want them to feel like you don't want to go back and reteach everything. You want to lay the responsibility for remembering this on the students. That doesn't mean you don't help them, of course. It means they will rise to the challenge. They will remember, they will use, they will ask a neighbor and the neighbor will remind them and they'll move forward real fast from there. So they will definitely meet your expectations. If you shortchange them though, I don't mean it that way. If you go back and reteach, they will also rise to that expectation that, okay, we need to relearn this. So always go with the idea that these are very competent, smart kids, and they will be able to move forward. Okay, so we're going to do graphic organizers today. We do a graphic organizer every year through fifth grade because what you want students to do is see that communicating ideas is more than simply talking or writing words down. It is a combination of all the senses, all sorts of media, visual and text and reading. So here we're going to use a lot of colors, images, fancier words, different ways of writing the words to make it just more effective and more of a POW for students. You have a lot of students in your class who are probably visual learners. So this sort of approach is really going to appeal to them. It will appeal to your other students also, the ones who just love reading and that. They will love it because they just enjoy learning. Okay, so graphic organizer is visual organizer, visual learning. It's graphics meaning pictures. So explain that to them. So pictures that they're going to, like if we go down here, this is a picture of what they're learning. It visually very well describes a person's life, their foundation, and every layer upon that foundation builds until they get the person. It would be very hard to write that effectively in words, especially that someone would look at the words and get the idea like you get it here by looking at this. I see the foundation, I see the peak. I see how everything layers on top of everything else and is supported by what's beneath it. That's pretty effective with a visual organizer. Very hard to do that in words. Okay, and we're going to get back to this when we do our visual organizer. Now, the topic you pick, I've picked a very generic one here, just how I organized as a person, but you may have a better topic that you can use from your classroom teacher. So talk to them and ask about what is layered that you can use that for the example that would tie in with their classroom. And then if it's very topical and it's a unit they're working on, have them join you in the classroom and help teach it to the students so the students can get the tie-in through that teacher. So this is MS Word. Students did have a couple of lessons so far on MS Word. It's going to be recurring because word processing is a tool they want to get very comfortable using. So in this case, though, we're not going to concentrate on tables, which the number square was, or writing a letter and decorating the letter as we did with the holiday greetings, the Halloween greetings that we did earlier. This one is all visual. There certainly is writing in it, but the majority is to present the picture visually. And we're going to use what's called SmartArt. So let me show you how this works. in case you're not comfortable. I would have start by, you want students to get used to doing exactly the same thing. A heading is always on the paper. And whatever it is that you use in your classroom. And then the title, whatever the title is. And if they're up to it, they can center it. I don't worry about that, but I show it so the students that are up to it can do that. They can even play around here and do fancy stuff there. Title. Okay, and then we go to insert, smart art. There's a ton of smart art here. You can go through and look and see if there's something that fits your needs better. But we're going to go down to pyramid, and there's this pyramid. You can do 4 different kinds, but I'm just going to take this one and then say okay, and it throws up a basic one here. So I have the students, I leave this copy up there so that they can not copy what I'm doing, but they can see, okay, my religion, culture, clubs. Write that in the bottom one. Write what your religion is, what your culture is, what your clubs are. Write it down here. And see how it resizes. So they're not going to write the words, they're going to write what they are, because that's their foundation. Then my country. What country is it? So they're going to write that there. It does resize to a certain point, but at another point, they will have to, if they have so much in there, then they're going to have to resize it themselves. What I like to see them do is not write that much, that it gets like that. So now here, I don't want to put it on the pinnacle one next, so I'm going to put here, but instead of typing there, I'm going to push enter, and that adds my layer, leaving the top one for my for the name. So now here, and then they'll go to neighborhood, whatever their neighborhood is. They'll have a name for their neighborhood, whatever it is, and they'll write that in there. They might not know that, and then they can just describe that, just put their street name there. Second graders are going to know their street name. Extended family goes next. I'm going to put that as another tab there. So, and that would just be some of the names. And then immediate family, extended. So you might want to discuss, what does extended mean? That is not the people that live with you. Those are the people that are family, but they don't live with you. So that gives you a chance to discuss that with them. And then mom, dad, sister, dog. Okay, those. And then up here is going to be where they put their name, but let's do something else here first. So this is how we type this all in. Sometimes when you use these, you run out of room. This one doesn't, but you'll see that instead of a dot there, it'll be a red X, and then you know that's not going to show up. You can type in it, but it won't show up on your diagram, so no sense in typing in it. But this one has as many layers as you want. Okay, so one of the problems brought up was I need to edit this and I can't find it. It doesn't have it up there, but that you have to first select it, and then you get the toolbar. Up here, which you can't see, is a purple Smart Arts tool, and you click that, it brings up all these, and then you go through these, whichever you want there. So after they've typed everything in, then they can pick colors. And then we need to get their name on it. So let's say we're all done editing. There's different things, and let them play around with colors here and these different fancy looks and decide what they want to do there, and then they can look there. Okay, and then I'm going to go insert, and I need word art because I'm going to put my name right at the top, and has it up there, but I'm going to just put my name, and I can simply put it up there. First, I got to get rid of that text there, and you do that just by putting a space in. And now I'm going to put that right up there. And I've got my pyramid. And that's really good enough. Now, if students have time, they can go down here and put pictures, insert clip art, and find pictures of the stuff that they want. They play soccer, so maybe they put a soccer ball in there. And then it's way too big, so we'll resize it. So put just what fits in one row down there, and it has to fit on one page. Those are for the kids who have time. Otherwise, it's perfectly fine without it. Now here, you want to make sure it works on one page, so they will check, and there's a spot down here at the bottom of the page where it says page 1 out of 1. And if it says that, you're fine. If it says 1 out of 2, then they have to go down and get rid of stuff. They probably put too many pictures on. And then they'll print, if you print, or export or save as a PDF, whatever it is you do. And that's why I have these pictures down here, because this student, this is the what you do to extend learning for students who finish early. Some of them do, and you always want them to have something that they can do while other kids are still finishing up. Not required, but that they can do. Okay. Now, if you don't have MS Word, this is not as easy to find in Google Docs. But you can then go to one of these. I have a list of graphic organizers here, and pick one that suits, goes through it. And like if I go to this one for all topics, let's see what that has. Let me bring that over here. And so you'll have a lot of choices here. And there is a pyramid down here, so you could pick that pyramid and then work with it, or maybe you'd want a different one. You don't have to do a pyramid. What you want to do, though, is pick one that's a second grade appropriate complexity and that fits with the topics that they're going to do. This one we do next year. So if you do it this year, you'd have to pick something else next year. Just be forewarned. Okay. So that's how you cover that if you don't have MS Word. Just try one of these here. And I think that's it. Let them make mistakes and try again and take their time. Some kids get really into filling this in. Other kids don't. They just zip through it and are more interested in the colors and pictures. Okay, guys, I think that's it. But let me know if you've got questions, if I missed anything you need help with, and I'd be happy to answer it for you. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.